James Gunn confirms that a Wonder Woman film is in the works. That's the first topic. And then we got more news about Superman. As we know, the Superman marketing is ramping up. It's already ramped up, but it's ramping up even more. Literally just before recording this, there's 2 new TV spots. Those got released, and tomorrow tickets go on sale. So yeah, we'll be talking about some news for that as well. And then we got a little bit of an update on the Batman. So yeah, a whole bunch of DCU news. Let's get right into this. So like I said, starts off. Okay, we're going to talk about Wonder Woman. Because James Gunn, he spoke about a Wonder Woman in a movie, a film. He said, quote, Wonder Woman's a separate thing to the already announced Paradise Lost HBO/Max series, which is slow moving, but it's moving. Gunn says, we're working on Wonder Woman. Yeah, Gunn says, we're working on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's being written right now. End quote. So, yeah, if you didn't know, the Paradise Lost series, which is supposed to be like, obviously, that's this HBO Max/Max series, this is going to be like a high level show, okay? High budget show, because anything like when you hear that, you're like, okay, that, like HBO Max type series, yeah, it's gonna have a pretty big budget. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. Shows that are on like that, they also air on the HBO channel. Those have like even bigger budgets, like The Last of Us, like those type of shows. They have like huge budgets. Just from that fact alone, I'm like, the series is gonna at least look beautiful. Okay, story, it'll probably be good. Just in general, it'll probably be good. But yeah, the series is pretty much just about obviously like the island, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it kind of gave like the backstory, the prehistory of it. And it's supposed to be like a prequel series, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, that's what the series is about. So when James Gunn, like when he first announced the DCU slate with that video, he announced this was part of the chapter 1 Gods and Monsters. I think it was announced in there as well. And and then it was kind of weird because we don't have any Wonder Woman. We don't have a Wonder Woman movie or any project like actually with her in it. But we have a series about the island. So it's like, let's not with Wonder Woman. It's kind of weird. And then it makes sense because even back then, they weren't ready to, I guess, reboot Wonder Woman at that moment. But I guess now they are. They've even been doing it for who knows how long they've even been writing for, just like even before writing, just gathering ideas, thinking of stuff. But yeah, at that moment in time, they weren't ready because, yeah, there was still, let's say, there's still some drama, some stench from the DCEU iteration of Wonder Woman. So I guess they're finally past that. James Gunn, yeah, he's like, because they're working on it, they're writing it right now. Who knows how long ago it started? It kind of seems like it's not like a new thing that they've already started, a bit ago. Who knows how long ago? But yeah, it's not like it just got started yesterday. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's been at least a little bit of time, which is a good sign. And yeah, like you said, it's a separate thing. Wonder Woman's a separate thing to the already announced series, Paradise Lost HBO Max series. Okay, that's expected. And then he also gives an update on the Paradise Lost series, which is that it's slow moving, but it's moving. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird because like we're hearing about a lot of the other stuff that's being developed, and then even some other projects that weren't originally in the plan, because obviously plans change. They weren't originally in the slate, and even those are getting we're getting like updates about like new shows that weren't even originally in the slate, but nothing about Paradise Lost, which is pretty strange. And I guess it's because they might be stuck. Honestly, they might be stuck. They might just not know what to do. They might not have the script. They might just not have the story that they want. Okay, they might not think the story's good enough right now, and they're just trying to figure out the right ideas, which is understandable. Because as far as I know, Wonder Woman's not supposed to actually be in that. So not having someone like a flagship character like Wonder Woman in the series, that is like for the literal location that the series is centered around, like without having her in it, and like it just, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. So obviously it'd be tougher to make a series like that. It's kind of weird. Okay, I don't really know how to feel about it. Hopefully I'm wrong though. But yeah, it makes sense that it's slow moving, but it's making progress still. Like it says here, we're working on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's being written right now. It's just huge though, because Wonder Woman's like, if you don't know, Wonder Woman's literally one of like flagship characters. I'd probably say, yeah, like in the big 3, right? I don't think people would dispute that. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I know some might have the Flash in there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some might have Aquaman in there. I don't know. Well, obviously everyone has Superman and Batman for sure, and I'd probably put Wonder Woman in there at 3rd. Yeah, like she's like one of the main characters. When you think of like just DC, like Wonder Woman's probably one of the first characters you think of. It was just hella weird that they didn't have Wonder Woman there, but it was kind of understandable. But yeah, it's a good thing they're working on it now, because yeah, bro, you need Wonder Woman, okay? And I know a lot of people, like, just in terms of like fan castings, they have, I don't know how to say her name, bro. I don't know how to say a lot of people's names, okay? This is a common theme at this point. But the one who played Bix in Andor, a lot of people want her to be Wonder Woman. That's the main one I'm seeing. The rest of the castings, fan castings, are like everywhere. Like I don't see like a consensus beyond this one fan casting. Yeah, let me know what you think about that down below. But yeah, it's pretty huge that we're getting a Wonder Woman movie. Yeah, because this came out of nowhere. Just a random interview today for prior promoting Superman. He just kind of dropped this bomb there, which is insane. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. And yeah, this movie's definitely still far. Like, don't get twisted. Like, just because they've already started working on it for a bit, that doesn't mean like we're gonna get it like next year or something. Okay, we're still years out from this, and yeah, this is very early on still. That's what I'm trying to say. They're very very early, as you know, because it's being written. But yeah, let me know what you think about that down below. In terms of the next thing I want to talk about, there's a few. I guess we'll start with this. James Gunn on his next film being a Superman sequel or not, quote, "What I'm working on is in some way, I mean," okay, sorry, I'll read this again. "What I'm working on is in some way, ... I mean, yes. But is it straight up Superman sequel? I would not say necessarily." Pretty much what he's confirming here, it's not like a direct sequel to what we're going to see in Superman this July. So it's not a solo Superman movie. That's essentially what it means. That we can 100% confirm that's not going to be like that. And then everyone starts thinking, okay, if it's not going to be like a direct, like, if you're reading between the lines, you're like, okay, it's not going to be like it seems like it's not going to be a solo Superman sequel. Okay, it's not going to be like that. It's still obviously going to have Superman in it, of course. But we're like, okay, wait, so it's going to be a team up movie? And then if you combine it with the rumors of, World's Finest, which if you don't know, this is like a comic run back from like, it started like the 1940s. And long story short, it was just with Batman and Superman teaming up. I think at first it had it like where they had like both their stories, but then eventually they combined them together where they were in one story and they were like teaming up, which is pretty cool. And I know people started drawing the comparisons immediately to Batman vs Superman, and then they're saying like, damn, Superman can't have his own damn trilogy, because then they said in the DCU that it was obviously Man of Steel, that was a solo Superman movie, and they're like, it seems like they're following suit with that. And the next one, second one was like Batman vs Superman. This one's like Batman and Superman, but still the same like kind of idea where both of them are in the same film together. So that'd be the second Superman movie, and the third one's Justice League, which I think we got some news about later, so we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, I know some people don't like this because they're like, damn, we just want some solo Superman like trilogy, bro. Like, come on. But I'm not gonna lie, like Batman's my favorite like DC superhero, so like I'm not gonna lie, I'm hype about this. And we still don't like, bro, what is going on? We still don't know what's going on with the DCU Batman. Like, obviously, we got Robert Pattinson's the Batman, but he is in Matt Reeves' universe. That's a whole different thing. We still don't know like what's gonna happen with that. So there's still a lot of questions about that as well. So yeah, and, it also depends on the Batman, because who knows? Like, it could. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of factors going into it. But just generally speaking, man, I love Batman. He's my favorite superhero, so I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, if it was someone else, if it was anyone else, this wouldn't even make sense to begin with. Obviously, they wouldn't have done it. But yeah, like, come on, bro. This is gonna pop off regardless, okay? Like, who doesn't like seeing Batman and Superman in the same movie? Like, come on. Especially teaming up. Like, it makes sense to me, but I know some people are, kind of just, like, mad about it. Yeah, let me know what side you're on for that debate. The next thing, I guess, talking about Batman, James Gunn says he still hasn't seen the script for the Batman 2, but confirms the film is happening still, which is expected, because this rumor keeps on going on, and he says, what Matt's doing is really important, despite all stories to the contrary. And then I also have some other here that shows the whole context. Yeah, James Gunn says the Batman 2 is really important to what they're building at DC. And it starts to make you think, like, obviously, if James Gunn's saying that, it's like, would you really be saying that with something that's not connected to your universe, right? So do we think those rumors from, like, a little bit ago saying, like, oh, Robert Pattinson's Batman is gonna get integrated into the DCU? I don't know, I feel like this kind of gives some, like, why else would James Gunn say, like, obviously he's not gonna say even if the project wasn't coming, like, into the DCU, like, even if the Batman wasn't coming into the DCU, even if it still just remains in Matt Reeves, like, Batman universe, Pattinson, Batman universe, even then, like, obviously he's not gonna say it's bad, so he's still gonna say it's good, but still saying it's really important, I don't know, I feel like it kind of like hints that Robert Pattinson might be the DCU Batman, which we still don't know. Like I said, I was referring to earlier when talking about World's Finest, that we still don't know who the DCU Batman is, and for the Brave and Bold movie, right, we still don't know anything really about that. We don't know I don't even think Andy Muschietti's doing the movie anymore. I'm not sure, like, we don't know anything about it. But yeah, anyways, James Gunn says we're supposed to see the script shortly, and I can't wait. And I'm pretty sure there's a report like 3 weeks ago saying that James Gunn was supposed to see the report or see the script like a week from then. Bro, like, this movie right now is just like, it's insane. Okay, I feel like we're at like we just keep on seeing the same reports like recycled. They're just like the wordings is different at this point. Superman tickets for the Prime members, the Amazon Prime Premiere, whatever, they went on sale in the US. Fandango crashed with ticket pre-sales for Superman, which is absolutely insane. And when that happens, it's a good sign. The Fantastic Four also crashed as well. So yeah, this is a good sign. And these are just pre-sale tickets, like literally, these are for like the early, like kind of exclusive, like limited screenings just with Prime. So I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty hype. And then the next thing is that James Gunn, when asked if the Justice League relates to his larger plans for the Gods and Monsters phase of the DCU, quote, sure, but there's no Justice League in this world. Not yet. And obviously that's expected, bro. Like the DCU hasn't even kicked off technically. Like Superman is technically the actual like kicking off of the DCU. Like if you get what I mean. Like yeah, we got Creature Commandos, but like this is the actual kickoff of it. Because it's like the first live action project. Like this is huge. It's like the first main like massive project. So you get what I mean, bro. We're starting off. Like you can't just like people just can't expect the Justice League to be like, you know, formed just like that. Okay, it's gonna take a bit of time, especially if you want to do it properly. We are gonna see some stuff in this movie. Okay, that's gonna be nice. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna see some stuff in the Superman movie, which is gonna just help towards building some stuff, okay? But obviously we're gonna eventually the Justice League, okay? Like Justice League is literally like the main staple of DC. But when you think of DC, obviously you think of like the individual characters, but you also think of the Justice League. Like, come on, okay? Of course we're gonna get it. Like, why wouldn't he do it? Why wouldn't James Gunn do it? Right? It's gonna come eventually. Just give some time. And then James Gunn says his next few projects will be important to the large story of the DCU. The most important thing is specific stories, but there's also a much bigger story that we're telling that will take a little bit longer to tell. That's sort of what my next couple of things are going to be. He kind of stated this, I think, in his like that video from way ago, from when he initially announced DCU, and it's like the whole chapter, right? The Gods Monster, whatever. There's gonna be, it's kind of like their end game, right? Their big event that they're leading up to, and they're gonna have some, I guess, from what he's saying here, Pacific stories, aka Pacific movies, most likely, or maybe even shows, but probably movies that like tie in heavily more than others into what this big like final event's gonna be. Yeah, take that for what you will, but it's pretty exciting because James Gunn's making sure that those hit, because you gotta make sure those crucial ones hit. He's making sure like that he's involved on those, because those are the most important ones, right? Let me know think about that down below. And the next thing is that James Gunn says Superman will have a post-credit scene, and this is already like, I'm not gonna lie, it's already leaked what I think it said there was supposed to be 2 or something, right? So maybe that's changed now. But regardless, like if it seems like those leaks are true, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not gonna go in detail, but yeah, just be careful, okay? Especially when that Amazon Prime screens start happening and people watch them. That's the problem, man. It's gonna be leaked everywhere. It's gonna be spoiled. Okay, so we'll know for sure what it is then. But yeah, just be careful now, okay? Because the post-credit scene has already been leaked allegedly. I mean, I saw it, but it's still, nothing's confirmed until it's actually, we've seen the movie. But yeah, just be careful about that. But he says, I have a philosophy about post-credit scenes. It's somewhat related to my own mistakes in my time with Marvel. He says he's not going to have too many future facing post-credit scenes because they might not come to fruition. So that's the main thing. Marvel's big problem. They just have, every time they have a post-credit scene nowadays, it's not actually setting up towards stuff because they don't actually follow up with it. So that's why you gotta be, like James Gunn's pretty much saying, like, if we're gonna do them, they're gonna be strategical. They're gonna actually be used in the future. So that's why we're not gonna spam them, just because, literally, we're not gonna put them in there just because people are expecting them, and I don't know. We're not gonna do. If we're gonna do it, there's gonna be a good reason for it, and we're gonna actually expand on it later. So there'll actually be a purpose. There'll actually be value for it. You know what I mean? That there will be intention. Okay, that's what it means. So we're just not gonna be like just doing worthless stuff. That's what he's saying. He remembers how Thor was added to Guardians of the Endgame. Yeah, man. Oh dear. And he didn't want that first third installment due to not knowing how to handle the character. So that's another good thing, because then, right, you have different directors attached to, different projects, like all different types of projects. So if James Gunn puts a thing, like if he just kept on putting end credit scenes and stuff at certain projects, then it might affect when another like director is working on a certain type of project. He's like, how am I gonna deal with this now? Or something like that, right? You get my drift, okay? It just affects it because like they're like, damn, the writer might be like, damn, I didn't even have that there. Now I have to try to figure out how to incorporate this in, and it's just not gonna work well, kind of like that. So it's like not screwing yourself over long term, not being with a constraint and stuff. Just making sure that if you're really gonna use it, you have a full plan for it. He also says how he hated doing Warlock post-credit for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and that he was lucky he was able to utilize it. So he didn't want to do the post-credit scene for that. It worked out in the end, but most time, yeah, those things do not work out. The next thing is that James Gunn says you won't have to watch Superman to enjoy Superman, or to enjoy Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is a great thing, because Marvel's feeling like homework, you know what I mean? So you don't want that to start happening. But this also means that technically you don't need to watch, if this is true, you technically don't need to watch every single project in DCU. So it makes it very accessible. That's the main thing, right? You want to be accessible, especially to the general audiences, right? People who just don't want to invest that much time, or just not interested as much, like into the weeds as much. And everyone's different, so that's fine. Can't expect everyone to be like, a diehard super fan. Like people who are watching this video, like us. So that's completely fine. And the fact that they're catering to more general audiences is I wouldn't say that's a bad thing, honestly. I wouldn't say that's a bad thing at all. I think it works out pretty well, to be honest. They just need, honestly, they need that. Okay, so it makes sense. But yeah, James Gunn says, quote, "I'm really trying to be careful and anybody can dip in and see the story that is up next and not feel like they're missing information," which is, bro, with Marvel, I know a ton of people that are just too scared to dive back into it now. They're like, man, look, since Endgame's been like, what, 5 years? Look how much more content's been just released. Because we're calling it content now, right? For Marvel, it used to be, oh, look, there's a new show, there's a new movie. Now it's just content because there's so much where there's free, like they were spamming at one point. Like now it's different. Now they're going back to quality, but you know what I mean? It becomes more like a task, a chore, a job, and then, being like a nerd, being like enjoying it, having fun, whatever. It becomes from a hobby to like just something tedious, which, it shouldn't be. So James Gunn, and it's just accessibility as well. So make sure everyone can watch it, and obviously that'll help their profits as well. So yeah, I think that's good. But yeah, the ticket, there was, when those tickets for the screening went on sale for the Amazon ones, some people were saying, oh, they weren't sold out in some theaters yet, and then people double checked that, and then later on the day they were practically sold out. But that probably could be the case where I'll say everywhere's not gonna be sold out. But yeah, people are jumping to conclusions based off of this, bro. Like, relax, okay, relax. And then Superman's off to a big start in pre-sales, pacing ahead of where experts expected from the confines of just Prime pre-sales, which is a good sign, obviously. The main thing's gonna be when tomorrow, or later today when you see this video, so on the Wednesday, June 11th. Tickets go on sale probably like Eastern time. I'm guessing probably 9 a.m. That's usually the standard time for tickets on the East Coast. Yeah, we're gonna see what the numbers. We're gonna see how many people buy them then, and what the actual tracking's looking like with the tickets, the pre-sale tickets. That's gonna be where we get some actual data at. So yeah, make sure you get them, and it's gonna be cool. Marketing's been ramping up. We're probably getting another TV spot tomorrow. That's what people are like later today. That's what people are saying, and it's supposed to have something insane. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace.